Welcome back to Coffee and Conversation. So for all you Audie fans, he is sitting in his second favorite chair, which is about, maybe 6 or 7 feet away from where I am sitting, because he's figured out I'm making a video, and he never really likes to be that far away. Here's the good news. Remember the little boo-boo paw? Well, when he is really kind of hurting and unhappy, he retreats to the bedroom because I leave my nightshirt out on the bed so that he can sleep on it because he likes that. It gives him some sense of comfort, and he needs us both to smell exactly the same. So he rubs up against me so he can get his smell on me and he can get my smell on him, because that's what works for a little cat. So usually when he is feeling under the weather, he will go in there and just curl up in that nightshirt because it gives him some sense of comfort. Fact is, he's sitting on a chair that I never sit in. So what this means is he's feeling better. And you gotta kind of understand cat speak to be able to work this out. And I'm sure all of the pet owners can tell you, every last one of you know that your pets speak to you in different ways. It might not be the, I don't feel good, so I'm going to wrap myself up in your nightshirt, the way Audie does, but it will be something. Your pets will find a way to communicate their mood to you. And Audie is communicating a slightly better mood to me. So I do think, yes, the paw boo-boo was never that serious to begin with, and it looks like it's healing and he's starting to get over it. So, good news all the way around. We are going to take a quick break for the intro, and we will be right back. So, taking my own advice from yesterday's video and completely ignoring it, I went in and decided to clear off my sink vanity in the bathroom. And I'm going to show you the before picture. I don't like doing this, but hey, yes, this is what my bathroom vanity looked like before I started cleaning it. Embarrassing. I have a couple of problems. See, now I'm starting to rationalize. I don't keep a medicine cabinet. I find that when I have a medicine cabinet, because of my lack of depth perception, I just knock things down into the sink where bottles break, and of course, the porcelain will get chipped and whatever. So I gave up on the concept of medicine cabinets a long time ago. So everything is out on the counter where I can kind of sort of find it. And my other problem is I use dusting powder. Now, this is something I picked up from my mother, from my grandmother. This goes back generations. And in my grandmother's day, she wasn't even using dusting powder. She was using cornstarch. My mother's day, dusting powder. Because I'm suspicious of deodorant. Now, this has nothing to do with aluminum content or anything they're coming up with. I'm not afraid of like weird waves coming out of the deodorant, nothing like that. It just has to do with the fact that my mother and my grandmother did not use these products, and I grew up not using these products. And I did try deodorant for a while. I didn't like it. Powder feels so much better. And as I say, in my grandmother's day, it was cornstarch. And heaven only knows what it was in her grandmother's day, but it wasn't deodorant. So I'm a little old-fashioned about that. And I find that powder works better. I like the effects. It does the same thing deodorant does, only it will absorb any perspiration, make you feel a little more comfortable. So for me, it's a win on all fronts. Where it's not so much a win is you go into the bathroom, you pick up that can of dusting powder, or I use a little tub of dusting powder and a little puff, and you get powder all over everything. So everything on that counter was powder coated. So, did I declutter? No, I did not. I simply cleaned and organized, as you can see. It looks better, obviously, because it's no longer coated in powder and things are a little more organized, and I cleared myself out a nice empty space, and that always makes me feel better. But there's still just pretty much the same amount of stuff there. I decluttered perhaps 3 or 4 objects, and that's it. The decluttering just didn't really seem to be happening. So what I have to do is I have to go back in tomorrow and sit down and look at this mess and say, how much of this can I put elsewhere? Do I need every single item that's out here on the countertop every single day? And the truth is, I found 2 hand soap pumps plus a bar of soap. One person, oh, and a cat. I do not need 3 separate sources of soap next to my bathroom sink. Not even close. Several bottles of perfume. Oh, and I have perfume in my bedroom as well. But the fact is, I usually put perfume on in the bathroom, so it makes more sense to leave it there. But I still have a cache of perfume in 2 separate spots. Oh, come on. That doesn't even make sense. So I'm going to have to go in and look at this a little more carefully and start that declutter downsizing thing. But my tendency when I will clean something is, as you see, not to get rid of anything. I just pick up the junk, wipe it off so it's nice and clean the countertop, and then sort of organize it in a more aesthetically pleasing way. As you can see, I truly did need that little, let's declutter jump start. And it didn't really work today. Today, I just got things cleaned and organized. Tomorrow, I have to go in for the declutter. And I am going to start off with that eliminate 10% trick. We'll see how far I get. Another thing on my agenda is this shirt. Now, I don't know if I have worn this shirt in a video before. Here, let me show you these big, gigantic cuffs, which, by the way, I think you are supposed to wear like this, open, so that they are falling all over your hand. But as a practical point, I just turn them back. You may have seen this before. You're not going to get to see it again. Because when I put this shirt on, oh, and there's a reason I'm wearing a sweater vest over it. When I put this shirt on, I looked like a toddler wearing Daddy's work shirt. It was really, really, I don't know if you can see it, just in the sleeves alone, but in the body, it's really, really bad. So, on one hand, this is good. This means my weight loss is moving on as it should. It's nowhere near as dramatic as it was in the initial stages when I was able to lose a lot of weight very quickly. Now I'm struggling and fighting for every pound, but I'm still going in the right direction. So my biggest battle at this point is to stay motivated when I will look at this and say, I lost 2 pounds this month. 2 pounds. That's it, 2. And it's dispiriting. Mostly because I want it to be 30 pounds. Like, oh, a month has gone by. I should be losing a pound a day. I tend to set absurdly high goals for myself and then get depressed when I don't meet them. Well, not actually depressed. I am sort of constitutionally incapable of becoming depressed. I really am. But I do get down on myself a little. But still, overall, I look at it and it's like, yeah, this shirt, oh, by the way, this shirt has a friend. I bought the same shirt in white. Same size, same problem. I tried that one on too, and it was just like, oh, they both have to go into the donation box. I am not keeping them. I do not keep the clothes I have sized down from, because that's a lot like giving myself permission to gain the weight back. I'm not doing that. No permission granted on this subject at all. So this is probably going to go into a donation box. Well, it is going into a donation box. I paid $12 for this. It is a linen rayon blend. It is really nice. It feels good because I have the linen, but also the rayon to give it a little body and keep the wrinkling to a minimum. And its friend was only $12 too. So it's hard for me to give up those bargain pieces because they felt like such a coup when I got these great shirts at such a good price. But somebody else is going to have to get the benefit of that. And one of the things I did while I was trying on the shirt, because I put this shirt on and said, you know, I haven't worn this in a while, and I couldn't remember if I ever worn it on a video. And I like to give you folks a change of scenery. You know, just, I don't want you to have to look at the same stuff day in and day out when you see these videos. So I thought, oh, that's nice. And it was so scary when I put it on. It's like, oh, this is, I just looked like I had gotten sick or something, you know, just your clothes shouldn't hang on you like that. But I had to try the white one on. And I started trying a few more things. And by the way, there are 2 other shirts that they're not going to be in my wardrobe that much longer, even at my pathetic little 1 to 2 pounds a month rate of weight loss. They're going to be going soon. So I'm a little heartbroken about that because some of these are things I really liked. Oh, a great wool and mohair sweater that I hardly ever got a chance to wear. That has to go too, because that one is just so big. So keep in mind, it's all a battle. This is not a pity poor me because I have such terrible troubles because I'm losing weight. No, I understand I should be grateful that I am losing weight. This is a good thing, but there is a downside, and that downside obviously is I'm going to be giving up clothes I love, and that leads me to speculate that maybe some people do, in fact, have problems losing weight, because it does mean they're going to have to give up their wardrobe. And this may be a wardrobe they carefully curated. They may love it to death. And things stopped fitting, and that can serve as a disincentive. However, because we're on this topic, I thought I would share something with you that I discovered quite recently at my local grocery store, and I began questioning how and why it is that it's hard for us to lose weight, because it is. It's hard for all of us. Staying on a diet is a struggle. But here's the thing. I went through the aisles at my local grocery store. I don't usually do this. Usually, you see, I don't want to do that. I want to go to the exact spots that I know in the grocery store. It's like, where's the fish? I will get fish. Where's the cat food? Audie will get cat food. Where's the fruit and vegetable section? We'll get some of that. And it's like I try my best to just completely forget where they're keeping the bakery goods. And I intentionally walked through the supermarket, hit each aisle. And I wanted to share this with you because there's a reason we have trouble losing weight. So I started off on aisle 6. because the prior aisles, like 1 through 5, were things like over-the-counter medications, feminine hygiene products, and things of that sort. So when we started off with food. So let's take a look at what my local grocery store is showing us from aisle number 6 onward. So, aisle number 6, lunch snacks. Oh, how exciting. Regular snacks. These are not lunch snacks. These are regular snacks. The lunch snacks are special. What is this? I think that says beef jerky. Why would beef jerky have a special label on this aisle? I don't know. We've got pouch snacks, not to be confused with lunch snacks and regular snacks. We have cookies, crackers, specialty cookies, and specialty crackers, because the regular cookies and the regular crackers are not special enough. But if you look at the area, I did catch a section of the shelf, in addition to the overhead, directional marker signs. And that is candy. Those tubs are simply full of candy. It's like one tub of candy after another. Unbelievable. So let's take a look at aisle number 7. We have box juices and regular juice, not to be confused with box juices, and energy drinks, which sound very, very healthy when you compare them to the box juices or the regular juices or the tortilla chips right underneath it. Doesn't an energy drink sound healthy? Well, those are like 95% sugar. And then we've got pretzels, chips, dips, and salsa. More junk food. Aisle 8. Oh, look, here we've got cereal and granola. It sounds so healthy, doesn't it? Hot cereal, oatmeal. However, take a look at the section on the left, which is where we have our hot cereals and our oatmeal, and you will see every sugar-enhanced kind of oatmeal you could possibly imagine. And if we go over to the other side, we have cereal bars and toaster pastries and candy and gum. You just can't get away from it. Aisle 9, kitchen gadgets. You would think that would be a safe aisle. Kitchen gadgets, right? Oh no, we've got pancake mixes and syrup. By the way, syrup is mostly sugar. We have peanut butter, and basically peanut butter is heavily fortified with sugar. And we've got spices, baking, flour, and an entire aisle dedicated to sugar. Great. We're never getting away from this. And this, by the way, is a close-up of one of the shelf sections in that previous aisle. And look at all of these sugar-enhanced jams and jellies. It's just, if the sugar on the other side of the aisle wasn't enough for you, you can get your sugar in a jar this way. Next one over. Stuffing, breadcrumbs, kosher, soup, specialty beans, Mexican, rice, and Asian foods. Sounds safe, doesn't it? This is the first time we've hit an aisle that really doesn't look like they are just smearing sugar snacks in our faces. But here's the end cap on that aisle. We've got all kinds of little popped pretzel, corn chip, whatever things. And you can see as we look down the aisle, so moving right to left, you can see this is the Asian food section. We've got our chopsticks and our Asian sauces. So that's the aisle we just saw. We cannot get away from this junk. All right, here we go. Next aisle. Beans, canned vegetables, canned tomatoes, pasta sauce, gravy, noodles, pasta, seasoning. I did make sure I got a nice view of the pasta sauces for you because almost all of them have a really high sugar content. And here we go, close-up of all of the various pre-made pasta sauces. This is like a third of the aisle, from one end right down to the other. Oh, and just in case we didn't have enough sugar in our diet, we've got bread on the end. And pre-made bread is, again, high in sugar. We're not done yet. Here we go. Oh, 12. This is canned fruit, prepared. I do not know what prepared stuff they are talking about, but it's prepared something. Canned meat, pickles. Pickles are probably not bad. Cooking oil, vinegar, dressing, condiments. This might look like another healthy aisle, but canned fruits have so much sugar in them, and we're often sort of tricked into thinking that we're buying healthy when we buy canned fruit. No, we might as well be buying fruit candy bars. This next aisle is the paper goods aisle, and I did not bother taking a photograph of the shelf, directional overhead shelf label, whatever it is, because I thought it would be self-evident when you saw all of the piles of paper plates. But look at this, even next to the paper plates, you got the yodels and the ring-dings. And by the way, almost every aisle has an end cap full of junk food. That's the kind of thing they put on end caps. Not healthy food, but junk. All right, 16. This is a trip. We've got frozen novelties, ice cream, frozen desserts, frozen pies. While on the other side, we've got baby formula, baby food, diapers, baby wipes. Even in the baby food aisle, it is loaded with sugary snacks. The next of the frozen aisles, frozen dinners, frozen entrees, frozen appetizers, global flavors, frozen pizzas, frozen snacks, frozen fruits, and way down at the bottom, frozen vegetables. Now, having been in this store many times, I can assure you that frozen vegetables represent about a quarter of the space available in this aisle. One whole half, and that is the section of the aisle that's on your left, that is all frozen dinners, frozen entrees, etc. The aisle on your right, about half of it is frozen vegetables. The rest is frozen pizzas, frozen snacks, frozen fruit. This one, which is our last official aisle here, frozen breakfast, frozen waffles, French fries, frozen bread, frozen meatballs. Once again, the overwhelming percentage of stuff here is junk. And now we move over to dairy. And we've got cream cheese, sour cream, cheese, orange juice, eggs, desserts, yogurt. And most of the yogurt is so heavily sugared up, it's practically worthless. And of course, we have bread. And again, pre-made bread has a very high sugar content. And that's basically, I've covered almost all the aisles. I've got a few more to do, but this is almost it. This one, as I walked through my store, I found these little sort of ad hoc displays of Christmas treats, gingerbread houses, and there will be more Christmas things like Christmas cookies and so on as the season progresses. A month ago, it was all the Halloween candy, and they've got them propped up on crates because they've run out of spots in which they can show off all of their cookies and candies and treats. This is one of the frozen aisles in the section that usually has meat and fish. So in between the meat and fish, And this is actually the fish section. This is what you've got. A whole bunch of prepackaged food. And 10 years ago, that freezer case would have been full of fish. Now it's all pre-made stuff. And this is the end cap on the fruit and vegetable aisle. And if you look beyond, you can probably see some of the areas where you could look over the top of this shelf and see that's where the fruit and vegetables are. But this is all salad toppings. It is everything from sugared candied fruits to sugared candy nuts to like weird little trail mix like things. You just can't get away from it. So yeah, you want to know why it's hard to lose weight? Because everywhere you go, you are being flooded with unhealthy options. Everywhere. Sugar this, sugar that, treats and more treats, and it's like you have to really hunt to find the real food. When I go into the grocery store, as I said, I make a beeline. Well, actually, no. First place I go to. No. Okay, I was going to say the first place I go to is the fruit and vegetable section, but it isn't. The first place I go to is Starbucks. I get my coffee. Then I go to the fruit and vegetable section. And after that, I hit the cat food section just because I don't think it's a good idea for me to get treats doesn't mean I'm going to deprive my cat. So I buy Audie some treats. I will get him whatever looks tasty, whatever I think he'll eat, because he's not on a diet. In fact, I'd just as soon Audie gained a pound or two. As he gets older, he's starting to lose a little bit of body weight, and I'd like to slap a pound or two on him. I wouldn't be sorry to do that. And then, because the cat food aisle sort of makes, it's perpendicular to the meat and fish aisle, and it meets that particular aisle right about where the fish begins, and then I go after the fish. And then I usually try to get out of the store before they have a chance to completely seduce me with everything else. However, to be fair, they do get me with the soda. Now, this is Coke Zero and no sugar in it, but still, they seduce me with the soda. None of us are walking out of that store without a few things in our cart that we know we shouldn't be buying. I can tell you absolutely that's what happens to me. And usually it's more than just a few things. Everyone says that the trick to grocery shopping is never shop when you're hungry. And that doesn't work for everyone. I have to be at least a little bit hungry to shop, because if I am not at all hungry, I go into the store and I don't want to buy anything because I'm not hungry. So given the fact that I'm not feeling hungry, I look at something that's like, I don't want that, and I walk away from it. And it doesn't matter if I need it. If it's not on my list, I walk away. So I do try to shop from a list carefully. But also, I want to give myself the opportunity to experiment a little. If I see something that looks good and looks nutritious, if I find something that looks nutritious, I feel like I've won the treasure hunt, because it's hard to find things like that. So I want to be free to do that. So I have to be at least a little bit hungry to effectively shop. Now, if I am very hungry, I buy crackers. I have friends who will look at my cabinet, see the cracker boxes, and say, shopping hungry again. Because for some reason, that's what I go for. If I'm hungry, I will buy a box of crackers. And I do not ordinarily eat crackers. I don't know why I do this. It's like Pavlov's dog. There is something in my head that says hunger equals a cracker purchase. We have to get to know how we respond to all this stimulus from the stores. Buy this, look at this. But we also need to be extremely clear about the fact that even if we are hitting an aisle that is supposed to have nothing but nutritious food, remember the meat and, canned meats. Well, there was also that prepared thing. I don't know what that was. It was just prepared whatever. Even aisles like that, even the baby supply aisles. On the other side, ice cream novelties. It is very, very difficult to get through a store without being bombarded by these demands for your attention. And they're brightly colored and they just call out to you. So yeah, when people say, I have a hard time dieting, I get it 100%, because society is making it harder and harder for us to keep our weight in check every year. People wonder why there is an obesity epidemic. Look at your local grocery store. This is my Chriswell Predicts moment. I predict that a time will come, and I hope I'm around to see it, when grocery stores will be prohibited from selling junk like that, when there will be legislations completely restricting that, so that if you want to buy cookies and candies and treats, you will have to go to the cookie candy treat store, not to the store where you can buy your meat, your fish, your vegetables, your fruit, the normal healthy foods. And I do believe that will happen. I believe it will have to happen, because what will happen is our population will become so obese and unhealthy, we will be compelled as a society to do what we should have done 20 years ago when this whole thing started. Okay, so that is what I have for you today. We're going to look at a slideshow on the way out. Thank you for being with me. For those of you who join us for Just Chatting, 8 o'clock this evening, New York City time. And for the rest of you, hope to see you next weekend. So, meanwhile, have a terrific day.